There's an ancient Japanese secret that separates people who only plan from people who actually do things. And today, you'll discover why most people stay trapped in an endless cycle of tomorrow, next week, when I feel ready. Have you ever noticed how some people just get things done? They start the business, they write the book, they lose the weight, they learn the skill. And you know what most people think? Oh, they're just naturally disciplined. They have willpower I don't have. They're built different. You've probably told yourself some version of this story, and that's the biggest lie keeping you stuck. Because the people who actually accomplish things don't have more discipline than you. They don't have superhuman willpower. What they have is something you were never taught. Something so simple it sounds almost insulting when you first hear it. In post-war Japan, when the country was destroyed and resources were scarce, they developed a method so powerful it rebuilt entire industries from rubble. This method had nothing to do with massive effort or dramatic transformation. It had everything to do with understanding one truth about the human brain that changes everything once you see it. They called this system Kaizen, small continuous improvement. And when you give up your addiction to big dramatic change, it will require you to accept that the version of you waiting for the perfect moment is the version keeping you stuck. Before I show you this complete system, I invite you to subscribe. Detailed, inspiring. Monday morning, the alarm screamed at 5 a.m. Let me explain what was actually happening in Daniel's brain every Sunday night when he made those perfect plans. When you set a big goal, your brain doesn't see opportunity, it sees threat. Think about it. Daniel's brain heard, "Wake up at 5 a.m. when you normally wake up at 6:30, and interpreted that as disruption to survival routine. Dangerous. When it heard, "Work on business plan for 2 hours," it calculated. 2 hours of difficult cognitive work with no immediate reward. Threat to energy reserves. When it heard, "Go to the gym for an hour," it registered. Unnecessary energy expenditure with delayed benefits. Not optimal for survival. Your brain is not designed to help you achieve your dreams. Your brain is designed to keep you alive. And for 99% of human history, alive meant conserving energy, avoiding risk, and staying with the tribe. Big goals trigger your brain's threat detection system, the same system that kept your ancestors alive when a predator appeared. Except now, instead of running from a lion, you're running from your own ambitions. Here's what happens neurologically. The moment you think about that big, intimidating task, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, sends out a distress signal. Your body floods with cortisol. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational decision-making, gets overridden, and you experience what feels like, "I just don't feel like it right now." But it's not laziness. It's your brain's threat response trying to protect you from perceived danger. The bigger the goal, the bigger the threat, the stronger the avoidance. This is why you can spend 3 hours scrolling on your phone, but can't spend 10 minutes working on your project. Scrolling feels safe. Starting feels dangerous. And your brain will always choose safe. Modern productivity culture worships massive action. Take massive action. Go hard or go home. No excuses. Just do it. And every time you hear that message, your brain hears, put yourself in danger, expend maximum energy, risk everything. And it responds the only way it knows how. Freeze, avoid, procrastinate, distract. This is the invisible enemy nobody talks about. You don't lack willpower. You lack a system that makes starting feel safe to your brain. And that's exactly what Kaizen provides. But before I show you how it works, you need to understand where it came from. Because the origin story of Kaizen will change how you think about improvement forever. 1945. Japan was destroyed, cities leveled, industries demolished, resources scarce. The country faced an impossible task: rebuild everything from almost nothing. American occupation forces brought in quality control experts to help Japanese factories. But there was a problem. The Japanese workers were demoralized. The tasks felt overwhelming. The gap between where they were and where they needed to be felt impossible to cross. A man named W. Edwards Deming introduced a concept that seemed almost insultingly simple. Instead of trying to fix everything at once, what if we improve just one tiny thing today? Just 1% better than yesterday. The Japanese took this idea and refined it into a complete philosophy. They called it Kaizen. Kai means change. Zen means good. Together, continuous improvement through small steps. Japanese factories started implementing it. Instead of massive restructuring projects, workers were asked to suggest one small improvement per day. Not revolutionary changes, tiny adjustments. Move this tool 2 inches closer. Adjust this angle by 3 degrees. Reduce this step by 5 seconds. Individually, each change was almost meaningless, but compounded over weeks, months, years, these microscopic improvements transformed entire industries. Toyota became one of the most efficient manufacturers in the world using Kaizen. Sony rebuilt itself from a small shop to a global powerhouse. Honda, Canon, Panasonic. All of them used the same principle: 1% better today, 1% better tomorrow, forever. And here's what nobody tells you about Kaizen. The system that rebuilt industries operates on the exact same principles that can rebuild your life. Because whether you're optimizing a factory floor or overcoming procrastination, the enemy is the same: the resistance to change, the overwhelm of massive transformation, the paralysis of perfectionism. Kaizen doesn't fight that resistance. It bypasses it completely. And once you understand how, you'll never look at your goals the same way again. The core principle of Kaizen is brutally simple. Do something so small your brain doesn't resist it. Think about Daniel trying to start his business. His goal was work on business plan for 2 hours. His brain calculated 2 hours of difficult work equals major threat. Avoid. The Kaizen version. Open my laptop. That's it. Not write the business plan, not research for 2 hours. Just open the laptop. That task is so small, so non-threatening, that his brain can't justify resisting it. It takes 5 seconds, 0 energy, no risk, safe. Here's what happens neurologically. When you complete a tiny action, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine. Dopamine is the reward chemical that reinforces behavior. Each tiny completion tells your brain, this behavior is good, do it again. Over time, those tiny dopamine hits rewire your neural pathways. You start identifying as someone who starts things instead of someone who procrastinates. Your identity shifts, not because you made massive changes, because you made micro changes consistently. Let me give you concrete examples. Instead of go to the gym 6 times a week, the Kaizen version is do 5 squats right now. Instead of write for 2 hours, it's write 1 sentence. Instead of study Japanese for 30 minutes, it's learn 1 word. Instead of completely reorganize my life, it's make my bed. These actions sound pathetically small. Your ego hates them. Good. That's how you know they work. Because the goal isn't to accomplish something impressive. The goal is to trick your brain into cooperating by making the first step so small it's impossible to refuse. And here's the secret nobody tells you. Once you start, you usually keep going. Daniel opens his laptop. That was the commitment. But now the laptop's open. The document is right there. His brain has already overcome the initial resistance. So he writes 1 sentence, then another. 20 minutes later, he's written 3 paragraphs. Not because he had discipline, because momentum carried him. The hardest part of any task is starting. Kaizen makes starting so easy you do it without thinking. And once you're in motion, staying in motion is natural. But Kaizen isn't just a mental trick, it's a complete system. And to use it properly, you need the tools. I'm going to give you 4 specific weapons Kaizen provides against procrastination. Use them exactly as I describe, and you'll start seeing results within days. First weapon, the 1-minute rule. Here's how it works. Commit to doing any task for just 1 minute, not an hour, not even 15 minutes, 60 seconds. That's it. You want to study? Study for 1 minute. You want to exercise? Exercise for 1 minute. You want to work on your project? Work for 1 minute. Why does this work? Because 1 minute is too short to fear. Your brain can't generate enough resistance to stop you from doing something for 60 seconds. But here's what happens. Once that minute passes, you're already doing the thing. Your brain has shifted gears. The resistance has dissolved, and now you have a choice. Stop or keep going. Most of the time, you keep going. Not because you're disciplined, because stopping now would feel unnatural. Second weapon, micro tasks. Take any project that feels overwhelming and break it into absurdly small actions. Not small, absurdly small. Daniel wanted to start a business. That goal felt massive, so he broke it down. Step 1, open a new document. Step 2, write business idea at the top. Step 3, write 1 sentence describing the idea. Step 4, save the document. Step 5, close the laptop. Each step takes less than 2 minutes. Each step is too small to trigger resistance, and each completed step gives a small dopamine reward that pulls you toward the next one. You're not climbing a mountain, You're taking tiny steps, and tiny steps compound into miles without your brain noticing the journey. Third weapon, environment tuning. Kaizen isn't just about what you do, it's about making what you do inevitable. Remove every barrier between you and the first tiny action. Want to write every morning? Leave your laptop open on your desk with the document already loaded. Want to exercise? Put your workout clothes on your bed the night before. Want to practice guitar? Leave the guitar on a stand in the middle of your room where you'll trip over it. The easier the first step, the less resistance you face. Every barrier you remove is one less excuse your brain can generate. This is Kaizen applied to your environment. Tiny adjustments that create massive behavioral change. Fourth weapon, the daily 1% reflection. At the end of each day, ask yourself 2 questions. What tiny thing did I do today that made me 1% better? What's one tiny improvement I can make tomorrow? Not what did I accomplish, not did I hit my big goals. Just what small thing moved me forward. This does 2 things. It trains your brain to notice progress instead of dwelling on what you didn't do. And it keeps you focused on continuous improvement instead of perfect performance. Kaizen isn't about being perfect. It's about being slightly better than yesterday, forever. These tools sound simple. They are simple, but simple doesn't mean easy, because using them requires you to give up something your ego desperately wants to keep, the illusion of dramatic transformation. Let me tell you about the eternal procrastinator. You probably know this person. Maybe you are this person. They watch every productivity video on YouTube. They buy every planner, every app, every course, promising to fix their procrastination. They have elaborate systems, color-coded calendars, detailed schedules, perfectly organized Notion pages. They spend hours designing the perfect productivity system, and then they never actually do the work. This is procrastination in disguise. It feels like progress because you're doing something related to your goal. But researching productivity techniques is not the same as being productive. Planning your workout routine is not the same as working out. Designing your study schedule is not the same as studying. The eternal procrastinator mistakes the map for the territory. They collect strategies like trophies. They can tell you about the Pomodoro technique, time blocking, eat the frog, the 2-minute rule. They know all the frameworks. But knowing Commit to 1 micro step per day. This is your non-negotiable minimum, not an hour of work, not even 30 minutes, just 1 micro step. Some days, that might take 2 minutes. Other days, you might get momentum and do 10 steps. But the commitment is always the same. 1 step minimum, no matter what. Step 5. Reduce the bar until it's impossible to refuse. If you still find yourself avoiding that 1 micro step, make it smaller. Can't write 1 product description? Write 1 sentence of the description. Can't write 1 sentence? Open the document where you'll write it. Can't open the document? Put your hand on your laptop. The bar should be so low that refusing feels more ridiculous than just doing it. This isn't about what's impressive. This is about what works. Step 6. Track the streak. Get a calendar. Physical or digital, doesn't matter. Every day you complete your 1 micro step, mark an X on that day. Your only goal is don't break the chain. Some days you'll do way more than 1 step. Great. Still just mark 1 X. Because the X doesn't represent how much you did. It represents that you kept your word. After 2 weeks of unbroken X's, something shifts. After 30 days, the identity change begins. After 90 days, you're a different person. Step 7. Let momentum take over. Here's what happens when you follow this protocol. Week 1, it feels too small. Your ego protests. This isn't enough. I need to do more. Ignore that voice. Week 2, the resistance starts weakening. Your brain realizes this task isn't a threat. Week 3, you start naturally doing more than the minimum. Not because you forced yourself, because momentum is real. Week 4, the guilt disappears. You're no longer carrying the weight of broken promises. Month 2, people start noticing. You're different, more consistent, more reliable. Month 3, you look back and realize you've made more progress than you made in the previous 3 years combined. Not because you worked harder, because you worked smaller. This is the Kaizen protocol, and it only fails if you quit. Which brings me to the biggest obstacle between you and the life you want. The lie that's keeping you stuck. The lie of all or nothing. You've been infected with a toxic belief. If I can't do it perfectly, there's no point doing it at all. If I can't work out for an hour, why bother with 10 minutes? If I can't write for 2 hours, why write for 5 minutes? If I can't commit fully, why start? This logic sounds reasonable. It feels like having standards, but it's actually the most effective self-sabotage mechanism ever created. Here's what all or nothing thinking does. It gives you permission to do nothing. It sounds like high standards, but it functions as an excuse. You can't do it perfectly right now, so you do nothing. You'll start when you have more time, more energy, more resources, and that day never comes. Meanwhile, someone else is making progress. Not perfect progress. Tiny, messy, imperfect progress. And in 6 months, they're 10 miles ahead while you're still waiting for the perfect moment to start. Social media has made this worse. You see highlight reels of other people's success, the finished products, the transformations, the dramatic results. You don't see the boring middle, the thousands of small, unglamorous actions that created those results. So you think success looks like, decide to change, make massive effort, achieve incredible results. When the reality is, make tiny effort, repeat for months, slowly notice small changes, repeat for more months. One day, realize you're completely different. Kaizen is anti-Instagram. It's anti-dramatic. It's anti-ego. It's the opposite of a transformation montage. It's doing 5 push-ups when you wanted to do 50. Writing 1 paragraph when you plan to write 5 pages. Studying for 10 minutes when you intended to study for 2 hours. And counting that as success. Your ego hates this. Your ego wants grand gestures, epic transformations, impressive achievements to post about. Kaizen offers none of that. Kaizen offers something more valuable, actual progress. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Remember Daniel, 3 years stuck in the same pattern. 3 months after discovering Kaizen, his life looked completely different. Not because everything changed, because tiny things changed every day. He'd given up the fantasy of waking up at 5 a.m. and training for 2 hours. Instead, his commitment was, put on workout clothes. That's it. The bar was so low he couldn't refuse. Day 1, he put on workout clothes, felt silly, took them off, but he'd kept his word. Day 3, he put them on and did 5 squats before taking them off. Day 7, he put them on, did 5 squats, and ended up doing a 10-minute workout. Not because he planned to, because momentum carried him. Day 30, he was working out 6 days a week. Not perfect workouts, some days just 10 minutes, but 6 days a week consistently for the first time in his life. His business plan goals shifted. No more work for 2-hour sessions. New commitment. Open the business document every day. Some days he just opened it and closed it. Other days he wrote 1 sentence. Some days he got into flow and worked for an hour. But every single day, he opened it. After 90 days, he had a complete business plan. A real one. Not perfect, but real. And he'd written it in stolen moments. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, without ever feeling overwhelmed. The guitar. Previous commitment. Practice for an hour daily. New commitment. Touch the guitar every day. Literally just put his hand on it. 60% of the time, touching it led to playing it. After 4 months, he could play 3 songs. Not virtuoso level, but 3 actual songs he could play start to finish. More progress than he'd made in 3 years of planning to practice. Daniel's transformation wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, almost boring. No single day felt significant. But the compound effect was unstoppable. After 6 months, he'd lost 14 pounds, had a side business generating $500 a month, could play guitar, and was conversational in basic Japanese. And here's what shocked him most. He wasn't tired. He wasn't burned out. He wasn't white-knuckling through willpower. The actions had become automatic. Part of who he was. He'd killed the version of himself that negotiated and hesitated. And in its place, a different person emerged. Someone who simply did things. One evening, a friend asked him, "How did you suddenly get so disciplined?" Daniel thought about it. "I didn't get disciplined. I just stopped requiring discipline. I made everything so small that starting became easier than not starting." That's the real secret of Kaizen. You're not building discipline, you're building identity. You're becoming the kind of person who keeps their word, who starts things, who follows through. Not through force, through design. Now I'm going to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Most people watching this video will do nothing with this information. They'll think, "That's interesting, that makes sense, I should try that." And then they'll close this video and go back to their normal life, their normal pattern, planning and not doing, promising and not following through. They'll stay exactly where they are. Because knowing about Kaizen is not the same as practicing Kaizen. Understanding the concept is not the same as taking action. So here's what separates you from everyone else. A decision. Not a decision to try, a decision to commit. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. Path 1. Continue chasing motivation. Keep waiting for the perfect moment. Keep making big plans and breaking them. Keep living in the gap between who you are and who you want to be. 5 years from now, you'll be in the exact same place, still planning, still waiting, still procrastinating. Path 2, accept Kaizen completely. Pick one thing, break it into micro steps. Commit to one tiny action per day. Do it even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Trust the process even when it feels too small. 5 years from now, you'll be unrecognizable. Not because you had a breakthrough, because you had 5 years of tiny actions compounding. The choice seems obvious when I put it like that, but here's why most people still choose path 1. Path 2 requires you to give up something. The fantasy of the dramatic transformation, the fantasy of the perfect version of you that will emerge once you finally get motivated. Path 2 requires you to accept that you're not going to have a movie montage moment. You're not going to wake up one day as a completely different person. You're going to be slightly better tomorrow than you are today, and slightly better the next day, and the next, for years. That sounds boring, unglamorous, not worth making a video about. And that's exactly why it works. Because everyone else is waiting for dramatic, you'll be practicing continuous. Everyone else is waiting for perfect, you'll be practicing good enough. Everyone else is waiting for inspiration, you'll be practicing showing up. And showing up beats inspiration every time. So let me ask you directly, what's the one thing? The one project, goal, habit, or change that you've been avoiding, that you've been planning to start for months or years, that you know would change your life if you just did it? Don't tell me you don't know. You know. It's the thing that came to mind in the first 5 seconds of me asking. Here's what you're going to do. Today, not tomorrow. Today, you're going to take the smallest possible action toward that thing. Not the full project, not even an hour of work. The absolute tiniest step you can take. If it's fitness, do 5 squats right now. If it's a business, open a document and write the idea in 1 sentence. If it's creative work, create the file you'll work in. If it's learning, look up 1 resource. That's it. 5 minutes maximum. Then you're going to do it again tomorrow. Same tiny action, or the next micro step in the sequence, and the next day, and the next, for 30 days. Don't commit to more than 30 days right now. Just 30. After 30 days of keeping that tiny promise, you'll be different. Not because you accomplished something huge, because you prove to yourself that you're someone who keeps their word. And that changes everything. I want you to comment below right now. Type the one thing you're applying Kaizen to starting today. Make it public. Make it real. Writing it down is the first micro step. And if you want to go deeper into practical philosophy and psychology that actually changes your life, subscribe to this channel. Because I'm done with surface level motivation content. I'm showing you the systems that actually work. The ancient wisdom that's been tested for centuries. The tools that transform who you are, not just what you do. You've reached the end of this video, which means you're one of the few who actually pays attention, who actually wants to change. But wanting is not enough. You know that by now. The version of you that procrastinates, that hesitates, that breaks promises to yourself, that version has to die. And the only way to kill it is to starve it. Stop feeding it negotiation. Stop feeding it excuses. Stop feeding it tomorrow. Start feeding the other version, the version that shows up, the version that starts, the version that keeps going even when it's hard. Feed that version 1 tiny action per day and watch it grow. Kaizen is not about becoming superhuman. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need to be superhuman. Someone who wins through consistency, not intensity. Someone who makes progress inevitable through tiny, unbreakable actions. You don't lose to procrastination in one big battle. You lose in tiny moments where you choose later over now, where you choose comfort over action, where you choose the fantasy over the work. Kaizen is winning those tiny moments, one at a time, forever. The path is simple, the path is tested, the path works, but only if you walk it. So stop watching, start doing. Your 1% starts today.